Testing 1, 2, 3. I got my leaderboard over this joint. This is good, Johnson. Get this out the way, though. Can I get it out the way? I don't even know if I can, Johnson. Well, maybe if I put it over here. Kinda. Still in the shot. I guess I gotta lay it flat. Well, lay it flat, Johnson. They ain't fixed the comment section, but I got my trusty little pad tablet over this joint. Welcome to the Tim Black Show, folks. My name is Tim Black, and we're back in the house. Give it up for Black Mamba and Buck Bewley, ladies and gentlemen. Yo. Man. Feeling good, baby. Feeling good. Got that poker face on for the crowd. So I want to say what's up, man. What's going on with you guys? Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Hope everybody's feeling good, man, and hope everybody's hanging in there. You know what I'm saying? We here at the Tim Black Show want to welcome you to a U.S. politics show. That's right. We cover U.S. politics, breaking news, and black culture right here on this show. We're doing it live again tonight for all the people that are interested in said topics. So, what you been up to? Sounds good. Yeah, last night couldn't be helped. It was Father's Day, and, I got my Father's Day on. I said I got my Father's Day on Father's Day. What can I say, man? At some point, maybe I'll tell you about it. Only for you adults, that is. No, for the kids. Only the grown-ups. If you're grown, it's sexy. So, look, man, we got it going on here at the Tim Black Show. We got a great list of content for tonight. Before we get into any of that, let me let you know something. This show is brought to you by the Tim Black Wolfpack mug. This sucker right here, this is politics for the people. That's what this is. Not politics for the rich, or the elite, or the well-connected. The politics of the people. Dishwasher, microwave, and hater safe. $20 to your doorstep, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. That's right, man. And look, just go to timblackmug.com, order yourself a Tim Black mug, the legacy mug. That's right. You know you want to do it. You know you want to do it, Johnson, while supplies last, while you can still get one. Do it. Now, which one of y'all got some on my 40? Where the people at? I said, where are the people? Church Talk. Church Talk, what's up, man? How you doing, fam? I must have missed you, man. You hope you're doing well. Good to have you back. Uli in the house and Saul Goods in the house, as well as Kai. Kai's in the house. Yo, what's up, Odysseus Quinton? Oh, man. Mr. Boots Malone said no one called him. His kids didn't phone him. Sorry to hear that, fam. Happy Father's Day. Sherry Covington and Elizabeth Lunny in the building. What's going on? USMCPB says, Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Appreciate that. Crom, what's happening? Olivia James. Welcome. Arlene Chambers. Yo. Welcome, Ebony. Trust No Party. In the building. M. Sparks. Welcome back. Jasmine Broham. What's up, Jazz? We got the crew in here tonight, man. This is all right. Bernardo's in the house. James Sumler. James Sumler is available. Active duty. DC Precise came through. Yo. Man, I'm going to need y'all tonight, man, because I'm going to go in tonight. Did I get Zen Soulful being what I just did? Yeah, I just got Zen Soulful. Yo. Happy belated Father's Day for all the fathers out there. For no one told you, now you just been told by the Tim Black Show. Happy Father's Day. Hope that your day was joyful and peaceful. So here on the Tim Black Show, we cover U.S. politics, breaking news, and black culture, and we're going to do that again tonight. There will be no surprises to that part of it, because that's how we get down. That's our get down. But for my people, try to figure it all out, try to understand what's happening. Don't forget, you can always holler at your man, Tim Black, by going to timblackconsulting.com. You can reach me on my website also, the timbblacktv.com. So I'm basically in all the .coms. Yeah, I got the .coms covered. Man. How we doing, folks? How we doing? We doing all right? I feel like maybe I don't need this thing, you know? Yeah, I don't think I need it. I think I'm clear enough, man. Just trying to get these sinuses, like make sure I'm, clear when I'm speaking here. I don't think I need that thing on. What the hell? I say, what the hell? Nah, man, it's all good, man. It's all good. It's gonna have to be. What you gonna do? I said, what are you gonna do? How many people out there are going through some adversity tonight? Show of hands on the adversity. How many people got some obstacles, some adversity, some troubles going on right now? Anybody out there? Let me just tell you, you're not alone. But we can do this together as a team, as a community, So I'm going to try to lift your spirits as I lift my own. And just know, we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. And if we spread love, we're not only doing the right thing, we're doing the humane thing. So let's be human to one another. Treat each other well while we're here in each other's presence. I wish you all peace and blessings. Yeah, man, so what we got going on tonight is going to be wild. Look, it's a Minnesota Manhunt ends. The Border Lies Debunked. And Chris Rock shines Uncut. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good about tonight's show, man. I envision it being a show where some are going to agree, some are going to disagree, but at the end of the day, we'll get through it together as a community. Yo, hope the volume's nice and punchy. Hope so. I'm looking here at my leaderboard. I see Katrina Watson, and she cooks and roasts, and Jorge Purnell came through, and Hero, the Duke of the Great Lakes. This is nice. I needed this, man. I can go back and just see stuff, and try not to get distracted, but it's nice, man. Lillian Madison's in the building. See, I would have missed this, man. Because I can't go back that often when I got to keep jumping over here. But here it's right there, man. It's all right. I like this. This works for me. JJ and Lens Go Deep. Thank you for being here, fam. I mean it. I need something, man. I need I need all you guys, all you folks, all you good people to help pull us through the algorithm. Help pull us through the algorithm by knowing that if you hit the like button, that helps the show. Hit the like button, save yourself some time, hit it now. You're going to like tonight's show. If you like Tim Black Uncut, if you think it's good that Tim Black gives them the business, if that's what you like, that's what you came for, hit the like button because you are not going to be disappointed, Johnson. I'm about to go in tonight, man. I'm kind of excited about it myself because I don't know how it's going to turn out. Yeah, man, I don't sit in front of mirrors for practicing nothing. I made a little bit of notes, like what stories I got, but hey, man, this is going to be it's going to be as exciting as for you as it will be for me, or as exciting for me as it will be for you, something like that. We'll see what happens. Yeah, man. I was on ChatGPT today. One of those tools, not ChatGPT, but another one like that. And I said, tell me something about Tim Black, the commentator, the political commentator, Tim Black. And it came back with a whole bunch of stuff. It ran forever. It was like a deep seek, right? But half of the stuff was wrong. But it did seem impressive. You know, so it is what it is. Yeah. We got it going on, Johnson. Buck Billy says 198,000. Yeah, that is quite a feat. Give it up for the Tim Black Wolfpack making that 198,000 subscribers possible because, man, wow. That is something, Johnson. That's something right there, man. I don't know what to say, Buck. It's all right. You know? It's not bad at all. Not too shabby. Yeah, not too shabby. Yeah. And what the hell, guys? Let's go ahead and make the show. Let's just bounce it off the walls, man. Let's go ahead and do tonight's show, man. Let's go ahead and dig in and get it cracking. Start now. So you guys ready? Yeah, why waste time, right? Let's go. Idle hands and all that, you know, devil's playground stuff. You know what they say.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
With Senator Biden, do you believe that, as Anho suggested, we're talking about jobs that Americans won't do? That's often used as a conversation point in this debate over immigration.
Let's get straight. Americans will do any job if you pay them properly. You know, the fact of the matter is, that doesn't mean we don't need guest workers. We do. That doesn't mean we don't need, but we should base the number of guest workers that are in the statute that we're trying to pass, and we tried to pass before comprehensive immigration reform, based upon need, not on an absolute number. And we should require employers to offer those jobs to citizens to see if they want those jobs. Case in point, you had Swift Meats down in North Carolina. INS came in, 800 people took off. The fact of the matter is they had to go out and hire people. Guess what? They had to double the wage and provide health insurance. They got all the North Carolinians they want to come and slit pigs' throats, which no one wants to do. They did it. And so that doesn't mean there's not room. We need agricultural workers. We need H-1B visas. We need what, in fact, exists as a need, not as an artificial number to allow employers to drive down wages.
Well, earlier in this panel, it was suggested that hiring illegal immigrants to do these jobs doesn't drive down wages. So I'm interested to hear this anecdotal evidence.
It drives down wages. I think it drove down wages at Swift Meats. What happened? When 800 out of 2,800 people left, they had to go out and say, okay, now we'll pay $10.50 an hour instead of $6 an hour, or whatever the number was. And we're going to give health insurance. And guess what? North Carolinians showed up for the jobs. That's what happened. So it should be based on need.
Next on.
Wow, man, this right here, that right there, Johnson, that's I don't know, man. That's something right there, man. I got to clap it up for that. That's something different.
Simply amazing.
Now, that's what I'm talking about, eh? I can rock with that.
I heard a couple people say, Tim Black, where's this Joe Biden? Yeah, who's this guy? Who the hell was that? That ain't the Joe Biden we had in office. We ain't even hiding this guy. This guy, he talks like he got common sense. Someone said, well, that's the old Joe Biden. That's the 2007 Joe Biden right there. That's not the current edition. You know what I'm saying? That's the one that, wasn't totally owned by whatever this is he's owned by. I don't know. But here's the thing, guys. Look, this is what's crazy about it is that's most of the Democratic Party back at that time. And that's not like 1879 or 1932 or 1982. No, that was like 2007. I got videos of Nancy Pelosi saying the same things. I got videos of Obama saying the same things in like 2013, 2014. Yeah. So what's crazy about it is if I say it, now it's 2025, I'm xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, anti-black, horrible Trump supporter, grifter, like every name you could come up with. That's what I am if I say that now. Yeah. Yeah. I got a name for it. There's a name I would accept for that. Smart. Yeah, smart would be a good name for it. Yeah. Aware of like reality. That's what I would call it. But hey, that's just me. I guess I'm a little biased. To reality, that is. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, here's the deal, fam. There are a lot of people that try to act like they don't understand this immigration situation. They want to make it a lot of different things, but what they do not want to make it is about the blacks. Yeah, Black America, we got reasons. We got reasons for those of us who are conscious, who are not fooled by the Jedi mind tricks of the Democratic Party, who realize it's a finite number of resources in a country with a finite amount of jobs, a finite amount of housing, right? We understand that. Take it for people that were enslaved for 300, 400 years and then were set free without shelter. We know housing is finite. So it is what it is. Yeah. What people can't wrap their head around is this is the Democratic Party that was before. And just kind of try to square it like, what happened to the Democrat? What happened to them? Why did they all change? Money. Shark Tank type money. That's what changes everything all the time. It's always money. That and threat of jail. And I don't think anybody got threatened to go to jail, so it's got to be money. Yeah. Yeah, it had to be money somewhere along the line that made this change. Donor money, special interest money, one of those. Yeah, man. We're going to get into more of it later, but then old Biden, the old Nancy Pelosi, the old Obama, they all knew this. Hell, I even heard the old Chuck Schumer saying the same thing. It was like the whole party was one place, and then it moved to another place. And here's the thing, and I'm going to move on, but I got to say this. I do not believe what changed with the Democrats was a change of heart because of ethics. I believe what changed for the Democrats was something self-serving. It was a new strategy. They needed to differentiate themselves from the Republicans in some way. See, the Republicans were for open borders as it pertains to corporations, right? Democrats, I don't know what they were. I don't know what their rationale was, but they wanted to shut down the border. They were like the ones, they were getting on they were, in fact, their talking points were coming after the Republicans for not being tough enough on it. Same thing they did with mass incarceration. At one point, Bill Clinton and the gang were like, look, these Republicans aren't tough on crime like we can do it. So that's the same thing they did with the immigration deal. But the change of heart that they experienced in the last decade, folks, I believe that's all self-serving. That is all political. That's what it is. Good thing for the Democrats. Most of the Democrats don't have the Google. Yeah, good thing for them they don't have an internet connection. Because they might look this stuff up and start asking questions like, hey, why is it now racist to want a border? When just 10 years ago, 12 years ago, you were like, it's mandatory to have one. I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah, I put out a recent video and I said, I was talking to Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, Bakari Sellers, Van Jones, any of these people that will answer me. And I was saying, why do you think Joe Biden let in more people than any other president? At least in the last 100 years. What do you think the reason is? I know you think anything I say is going to be a conspiracy theory and crazy, wacky, right-wing Trumpian stuff, even though I'm not a Trump supporter. But we know that's what you're going to label me. So what do you think was his motivation? Yeah, I just would love one of these guys, one of these women, one of these smart human beings who have doctor's degrees or doctorate degrees or legal degrees. I wish one of them would tell me what they thought honestly was Joe's change of heart. Why did he let in so many people? Do they really believe he was that incompetent? He didn't know the border was open? Nobody's gotten back to me. Haven't heard a damn thing. Yep. Let's just say I'm not holding my breath. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. We're live on the Tim Black Show. Let me get a like on this joint. Can we get some likes up on the board? Get it going. We want to try to get to 400. Yeah, man, you got to have goals. My mom says you got to have goals, Tim Black. How we doing on X? What's happening, X Boogie? How y'all doing, X? Hope everybody on X is good, man. Good to have you. Let's keep the party going. Why not?
Deck with Tim Black.
Houston Community College is facing a $100 million lawsuit. Hundreds of African-American employees, both past and present, say they faced racial discrimination while working at HCC. Channel 2's Roseanne Aragon is live tonight with a closer look at what this new lawsuit claims. Roseanne?
This lawsuit was intentionally filed today. The plaintiff tells us she represents many. Houston Community College slapped with a $100 million racial discrimination lawsuit filed on none other than the Juneteenth holiday. At the center of the case is Zelia Brown, a former employee who says she and others have been racially targeted by HCC leadership. The suit also reveals an email chain from Chancellor Cesar Maldonado, which states now we Hispanics are going to receive preferential treatment.
This is a pattern. That's something that is methodically and deliberately done to ostracize that individual.
The suit names Maldonado, HR Director Janet May, and Board of Trustees member Adriana Thomas, claiming they worked intentionally on a, quote, well-developed, systematic, entrenched, and wildly successful campaign of race and sex discrimination against top-level black employees, stating that 90% of the longtime black professionals at HCC have either been terminated or demoted, while there has been a 50% increase in Hispanic hires and promotions.
Whether it is demoting them by pay, placing them in a lower level position, creating schemes.
Brown says it happened to her. In 2016, she was hired to advise on grant use and compliance. In 2018, when she found what she believes was a clear pattern of misused funds and spoke up.
Every avenue that I would go down, they would present an obstacle.
But the lawsuit cites other alleged tactics, including padding Black employee personnel files with false complaints. For Brown,
They just immediately placed me on administrative leave.
in March, she resigned, and
There have been dozens, as I've said, that have come forward.
HTC says they have not been served yet, so at this hour, they do not have a response. For now, Roseanne Aragon, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Roseanne, thank you.
Next on
Yeah, Johnson, I know. No response, right? I know. That old black-brown coalition kind of not working out so well, is it? Yeah, kind of not working out so well when they get caught red-handed saying, let's get rid of the blacks and help each other out. Let's enrich the race. Yeah, improve the race. Yeah, it's kind of bad when that happens. Yeah. You know what's real bad is when you're dumb enough to put that in an email and send it, knowing it could be subpoenaed. I mean, it's one thing to say it at a country club or say it, out playing cards, but to actually type it. Yeah. They need to change the leadership at that college. Did they go to college? Damn. But no, here's the real deal, man. Look. I'm not surprised at all. Nope, not surprised at all, man. Yeah, not at all, man. There are people that they have nice thoughts. They think nice things. They want nice things for the world, and we all want nice things for the world. But see, that's want. In reality, it's a whole different story what's going on. In reality, we got people fighting for position, people that want to help each other, help their group. We got all types of stuff. Yeah. The most diverse employer in the country, guess who that is? Black Americans. Yeah, when Black Americans they hire everybody. They hire Hispanics, Asians, whites, blacks. They hire everybody. Because that's kind of what we do. Yeah, no, you wouldn't think that if you looked at X. If you were on X for more than 5 minutes, you wouldn't think that Black people were the most diverse employers in the country. Yeah. But it's true. It's facts. You can look it up. Yeah, I've already looked it up. And I don't know if Hispanic employers are the least, but I don't think it's white folks. Yeah, because, I just don't think it is. Black and white folks been around each other too long for forever for it to be that way. But, I don't know. I don't know who's second. But I know we're the most diverse. And that's sort of like one of the things, you know what I'm saying? One of the things that we deal with is discrimination on the job, which leads to a lot of the bitterness and separation. But see, this whole thing of there being a coalition to begin with was all fabricated by the Democratic Party, man. Yeah, it's just a talking point. Just to smush minorities together, make it seem like it's a rising tide lifts all boats. Now when they put a hole in your boat on purpose, yeah, now when they put all the blacks on one boat and then kick it further into the river, then shoot at it, now that's not the same. So when the tide rises, we just sink faster. And of course, I'm not talking about everybody. I've known some great Latino people that I rocked with, man. I remember I worked in D.C. I'm from the D.C. area, man. D.C., very diverse area. I think only second to New York. It really is everything, everyone. You know what I'm saying? In fact, in D.C., if you work in D.C. and you can't get along with everybody, and I don't care what gender, what orientation, what nationality, whatever, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have a problem. Because D.C. is all the government contracting that goes on in this area is all types of folks. Yeah. So, yeah, but I've seen a lot. This lawsuit is not an isolated situation. And if you think it is, you think it's isolated, you think I'm cherry picking, you are goofy. This is what happens. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below, man. This is, let me know what you think. Do you think this is, I don't know. I already know you probably think it's bad, and it is bad. It said people had their employee files stuffed with false, bad reviews and bad this, bad that. That's bad, Johnson. Yeah. All right. Let's keep it rocking, baby. We got more on the docket. Let's go.
On deck with Tim Black.
That came from initially.
Can you identify the potential motive here? It has been widely reported that the list, his hit list, contained names of people who are abortion rights supporters. And also, can you please release the names of the two other targeted victims who were...
Well, look, let me just bring people up to speed. This is the story of the Minnesota shooter the Minnesota shooter was caught after he was on the run. This is a story. June 14th was when it took place. This is the FBI going over, different facts about the case.
As I said, with respect to the other two potential victims, I think it's up to them whether they want to publicly identify themselves. As I said, it wouldn't surprise me if they do. They're elected officials, but that's their right. Obviously, they may have families and children and privacy interests that they need to sort through. So I'll let them do that. With respect to the potential motive, let me say this. There's been a lot of press coverage and speculation and discussion of a manifesto. I've seen nothing like a Unabomber-style manifesto in his writings. He had many, many notebooks full of plans, lists of names, surveillance, efforts that he took to surveil and locate the home addresses and family members' relationships with these elected officials. But I have not seen anything involving some sort of political screed or manifesto that would clearly identify what motivated him. Obviously, his primary motive was to go out and murder people. Now, they were all elected officials. They were all Democrats. Beyond that, I think it's just way too speculative for anyone who's reviewed these materials to know and to say what was motivating him in terms of ideology or specific issues. There's a lot of...
For abortion rights supporters?
There were some abortion rights supporters, I believe, on the list. But again, there was dozens and dozens and dozens of names on, hundreds of pages of documents that were recovered with his writings on them.
Did he confess and give more details after he was apprehended last night?
I'm not going to comment on that at this time.
So there's no...
Damn. Thanks, Buck. The Minnesota political shootings occurred on June 14th, 2025, targeting two Democratic lawmakers and their spouses in what appears to be a politically motivated attack. Melissa Hortman, former Speaker of the Minnesota House, and her husband, Mark, was shot and deleted in their home in Brooklyn Park. State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were shot in their homes. They were wounded in Champlin, approximately 9 miles away. So this guy, the shooter, was making stops. And this is what, we've been able to ascertain. And he had a lot more people on his agenda that he wanted to go pay a visit. The Hoffmans survived it, which is miraculous that they survived it. Yvette was shot shooting her daughter. She was shot 8 times, and her husband John was shot 9 times, and somehow they survived the attack. The suspect is Vance Luther Bolter. Vance Luther Bolter, 57-year-old Minnesota resident, was arrested on June 15th after a 2-day manhunt. This was the largest manhunt in Minnesota history. Bolter posed as a police officer using a realistic latex mask. He had on a tactical vest and a vehicle resembling a police SUV with emergency lights. The guy came prepared. This was not some willy-nilly situation, which is why in this press conference, people wanted to hear a little bit more. And obviously, this was not something he came up with overnight. But you heard the FBI say, well, there's no real manifesto. There's no manifesto. But yeah, there definitely was a mission. So there was a list of, I think, last count, it was like 40-something names were on the list. And that list included Tim Walz, Keith Ellison, and Ilhan Omar. In fact, I'm wrong. It was 70 names. 70 names were on this list, at least 70. Including, got those abortion rights advocates, also Planned Parenthood locations, Democratic operatives, Democratic politicians. It says, still, we have no definitive motive. And this is what's kooky about it. Now, look, I got Republicans saying this all seems a little bit too tidy. I don't know, man. Where we cannot draw the conclusion that this guy meant to be somewhere else. Like, this is not random. So we can at least say he intended to do what he did. He definitely intended to do what he did, which is go to the home of 2 former Democratic operatives, politicians, and delete them. That was definite. I saw another clip that I thought was, I don't know. They say after the first shootings, they went to the second house because that was sort of like the way they do business, right? Following their progression, right? So if one politician sit at their home, they immediately, once they're on that scene, they go to another politician's house. Like, they start going to all the other politicians' houses because they think it could be politically motivated. Now, they had no facts. They had no way to know it, but they guessed. And when they were there at the Hoffman's house, here this guy pulls up, and somehow they let him slip through their fingers. He shot his way out, but in shooting his way out, he couldn't get back to his truck. In his truck, that's where they found guns, ammunition, all types of stuff. So, yeah. But once again, guys, I'm getting talk of Republicans or conservatives, and I don't know, maybe some independents as well, saying they think that this is just too. Some don't seem right to them. They're like, some people are saying that they believe he's not a Republican, but this is what we go through every time there's a shooting. Democrats say it's a Republican. Republicans say it's a Democrat. Everything gets labeled something. You know what I'm saying? It has to be one side or the other. Maybe he was an independent. Or maybe he was just hated these particular Democrats. Maybe they didn't think they were fighting hard enough. I don't know. You never know, right? But and then we have, on the other side, we got Democrats blaming Trump, which is not new. They blame Trump for everything. I don't care what it is. If it rains too much, they say Trump did it. If it's too hot, and say Trump did it. Like, if it's too cold, Trump did it. Whatever it is, Trump did it. Unless it's something good. And if it's something good, then Democrats did it. Somehow. Even though they're out of power. I did find this video on the internet. And allegedly, it's a video of the suspect preaching. Let's check it out.
Sin.
Et il n'y a aucun péché
That God can't take care
que
of.
Dieu ne peut pas enlever.
Nothing.
Il n'y a rien.
There's people, especially in America,
Il y a des gens, particulièrement aux États-Unis,
they don't know what sex they are. They don't know how their sexual orientation. They're confused.
ils ne savent pas ce qu'ils sont exactement. Ils ont une confusion.
The enemy has gotten so far into their mind and their soul.
Et l'ennemi est entré dans le fond de leur pensée et de leur âme.
But this word
Mais ces paroles
cuts deeper
va aux profondeurs.
because it's living.
Et l'ennemi,
The devil
le diable,
comes through
et il est venu au travers d'eux.
and rips everything apart.
Et il a volé, il a détruit toutes choses.
The churches are so messed up.
Les églises sont vraiment en désastre.
They don't know abortion is wrong, many churches.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yeah, I don't know what to take of it, man. I don't know, man. They say he had a broader plan. I don't know if this is him. They say it's him. I'm going to take him at their word. I can't tell. I don't know. But this guy, Governor Tim Walz is calling this a politically motivated assassination. I don't know. And they're all sending messages that this was, once again, all due to Trump. And they say rising political violence in the country because of Trump's policies. And this is the byproduct of Trumpism. The shooting disrupted planned No Kings protests in Minnesota, and a memorial for Hortman grew at the state capitol. Well, anyway, they got him. They caught him, which is always interesting how somehow a shooter who off two people is able to be taken in. You know he's armed, but they're able to bring him into justice without shooting him. It just kills me that we can't do that with, I don't know, unarmed kids. Like, we can't bring in unarmed kids. But we can bring in this guy. And I know it's a different state, but they're still cops, right? Never sits good with me, man. That's always the first thing I'm thinking. Why does this guy get to come home? Why does this guy get to stay in trial? That's what I'm thinking. Don't say he didn't run. It was a manhunt. He did run, damn it. He ran. He was on a run for days. All right, guys. I don't know. It's always some excuse they give me when I say, hey, man, you ever think it's the motivation of the cops is different depending on who they're chasing? Oh, no, of course not, Tim. Cops would never, ever be biased. Yeah, I know. It's just my black brain thinking, Just me thinking crazy stuff like, based on history. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting seeing what this guy says and see, what comes out of this. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. People say, some people are saying it seems too easy. It seems too tidy. I don't know. I really don't know. But I will continue to look into it. I'm interested in hearing what this alleged shooter's going to have to say. Yeah. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Thank you. Hit the comment button, comment, and let people know something. I don't know. Give us something. All right. Where are we at here, Johnson? Where are we at?
She is going to go down, really.
Oh, this is an interesting one. I don't know this guy. And I stumbled upon this on X. And he's talking about Stacey Abrams. And, you know, I was critical of Stacey Abrams because, well, it's sort of my job. She is a Democrat. And she makes lofty claims, and for some reason they keep holding her up. Now, I know people that work for her say she's smart as hell. I don't know. All I know is she got a cushy contract from Joe Biden that will make any regular person look corrupt as hell. But since it's her, I guess we're not allowed to think that. Like a $20 million contract. Anyway, let's check this out, guys. He's going to say some things about Stacey Abrams.
When you start to look at this, is one of the biggest fraud and crooks in our generation. $20 million to one of her friends in a law firm. For what? For voting irregularity or something? You get on election denialism. This is a woman who for 2 years said that she was the governor of Georgia. She lost by 50,000 votes to Kemp, and yet she went around and she was feted by everybody as the real governor. So she's never really won anything since she was a state representative. She's failed in everything she's run for, and yet she's a heartthrob of the left for some reason. I don't know why that is, but she's not very competent. She's not an appealing character. She's hard left, but she's up there with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden in grifting, and how she gets away with it, I don't know. We're dealing with a 2.1, somewhere between 1.9 and 2.1 budget deficit, and that crazy Biden team printed $7 trillion before they were done, and that money was just lavished on all of these left-wing people, and nobody's asking for it to be paid back. There's no accounting. So there should be an investigation of her and her financial impropriety. There really should be.
Next.
Yeah, you know, I'm not, like I said, I've been critical of Stacey Abrams for a number of reasons. But comparing her to Joe Biden, really? Really? This is when they go too far, Johnson. Look. Hey, man, I got no problems calling her out on their BS. Let's call them all out on their BS. But Stacey Abrams wasn't writing the checks, man. Like, she's not. Joe Biden gave her a contract, right? Gave her nonprofit a contract, by the way. Yeah, you know, Republicans hook each other up all the time. Yeah, I just don't want people to think that, I'm critical of the Democrats, but I'm not delusional. We got two corrupt parties, okay? Got two corrupt parties, not one corrupt party. It's this guy's talking like Stacey Abrams runs something. She ain't elected. She's not in a position of power. If she got hooked up, let's go after who hooked her up, because she ain't hook herself up. That's something I used to always say back in the day when I worked as a contractor. You don't like who's doing this? They didn't hire themselves. They didn't get themselves the contract. Who hired them? If someone's cutting their checks undeservedly, you best believe that those are the people you should go after, because they're cutting other people's checks. They ain't break the mold with her. Yeah, so the comparisons to Hunter Biden, and I don't even know why you said Hunter. Now, Joe Biden, yes. But Hunter didn't write himself checks. He took money, the same money that I'm sure Republicans would have took. Like, you know, what are we talking about? I'm not saying it's legal. I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is stop gaslighting. Yeah, stop gaslighting. Billy. I don't know your name. Dick. I really don't know his name. But what I'm saying is stop gaslighting like this is a one-sided thing. Yeah, go up one side and come down the other. Then I got respect for you. But if you want to act as if Stacey Abrams, who I have no problems criticizing, but let's not act like she invented anything. She didn't, Johnson. If we start looking back, peeling back the onion, and looking at both sides, will find plenty of hookups and set-asides and deals and all types of crap. You know? This guy looks old. He knows what I'm talking about. What about HW? What about W. Bush and freaking like BlackRock and all that shit? This guy looks 80. He's seen some corruption. He doesn't sound like he got in politics last week. So he was around doing that whole, Iraq thing. How many people made off on that? 20 million is nothing when you think about the money that was made there. So I'm just saying, like, once again, it's not in defense. It's plus this other thing. It's like her and these other people. Let's keep that in mind, man. We don't want to go into hack territory where we only see one side of the equation when it's both. Yeah, I'd rather have both sides mad. Let me know what y'all think, guys, in the comments section. Yeah.
On Deck with Tim Black.
Say this. You can't.
Oh, God, this is good. We're almost to the end. We're close. I don't know where we're at. So, look, guys, here we go, man. Let's talk about Chris Rock. Yeah, I want to talk about Chris Rock. I ran across this clip of Chris Rock, but before I get into that clip, I want to point out something. Now, once upon a time, Chris Rock had a comedy special called Bring the Pain. And in that comedy special, he made comments about Black Americans, and then there's ninjas. Yeah, this has become famous. Almost every Black conservative has used this at one point of time or another. Their way to score points with the white conservatives who wish to use the N-word and wish to debase Black people, call Black people out for all our failures. Yeah, they love that Chris Rock bit. Conservatives be like, yeah, that's the one. See, they said about themselves. Even Chris Rock said it's Black people and then there's N-word. And this thing has been going on. It's been over 20 years, man. And people talk about it like it was yesterday. Hell, it's almost 30 years. This came out in 96, 06, 16, 26, they're almost there. 29 years. And people talk about it like it was yesterday. Basically, they treat this Chris Rock routine like they treat OJ. Yeah? They bring it up every chance they get. And one of the things I noticed is a lot of cherry picking, man, with these conservatives who do this particular thing. Not all conservatives. I've been reminded, Tim, that all conservatives are the same. For every Jason Whitlock, you got a Shermichael Singleton. Or other reasonable, like, conservative who doesn't dump on their, on Black people for profit. So, okay, cool. But I do notice it, and I want to point this out. So when I ran across this stuff, I said, you know what? Instead of always jumping on Chris Rock and bad-mouthing him, let's present a Chris Rock clip where he don't get enough credit. Let's run that clip.
Say this. You can't beat white people at anything. Never. But you can knock them out. Like, if you have 6 and the white guy has 5, he wins. If you're Black, you can't let it go to the judge's decision, because you're gonna lose, no matter how bad you beat this man up. Larry Holmes, Jerry Cooney is the perfect example of life. Larry Holmes beats the shit out of this guy for 11 rounds. He knocks him out in the 11th round. They had to stop the fight. The man is bloody. He's been beaten the whole fight. They go to the judges' scorecards. Larry Holmes is losing the fight. If he didn't knock him out, he would have lost the title. And that is essentially the Black experience. You're always Black. There's always going to kind of be an overreaction one way or the other. regarding your presence, be it good or bad. Just when you let Jackie Robinson in baseball, that doesn't mean it's equal. Baseball statistically isn't equal almost until the 70s. And you know, and why do I say the 70s? Because that's when you started to see bad black baseball players. The true equality is the equality to suck like the white man. That's really Martin Luther King's dream coming true, is guys sucking. I watch the Oscars. Okay, these are the people that made the good movies. What about the people that made the bad movies? That's most of the industry. I want to be like that. Not that I want to be bad, but I want the license to be bad and come back.
Next on deck.
Yeah, see, I think one of the things that I notice about our politics, man, and what I notice about our culture is that we tend to focus on, people will take you out of context and ride something for 30 years on your ass. Yeah, because it serves their interests. I mean, Chris Rock had a lot of quotables that called out racism and bigotry. They called out discrimination. No one, they don't know those. They don't remember those. Only one they remember is that one, the one about blacks and ends. That's the only one they remember, because that's the only one that serves their purpose. Up to them, he only had one joke ever. You know, there are a lot of black conservatives that play that game too. And I get it. You're like, why should all the white guys have all the fun? Well, that doesn't let you off the hook for being a scumbag, though, does it? Yeah, Chris Rock, I'm not here to defend him. But what I'm saying is, he told one joke 30 years ago. And people have been using it for 30 years to hurt black people, to make excuses for why black people have been discriminated against for 300 and something years, or as long as we've been in this country. 400 years. They want to make it about something we did instead of about the system, about the way America's been built since we've been here. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to point out, man, I just want to point it out. I want you to recognize and just peep game. Peep game and how they do it. Peep game and how they flow. That one joke that Chris made, that one bit, is not all of his work, but it is all of his work that they want to share. Because once again, that's the bit they use against us. And you'll see a lot of things weaponized against us. And it'll make you hate, dislike, be pissed off, and want to come at the necks of whoever said whatever thing. But realize they were taken out of context. Realize there was more to it, right? Yeah, he said it. I wish he didn't say it. But it's hard to, at the time when he was a very young man, he probably didn't think, oh, they're going to use this for 30 years. Maybe he wouldn't have said it. That's the type of thing we got to think about. You got to think like this when you're doing media content. How is this going to be taken out of context? How will this be used in perpetuity against my people? These are things Jason Whitlock, Candace Owens don't think about. And if they do, that's even worse. You know what I'm saying? I guess I could say the same thing about the Democrats or the liberals who continuously lump all black people with all other types of people from all other types of countries that has nothing at all to do with us at all, except we aren't white. We aren't white. They come to America and are considered white. And still we get lumped with them. It makes no damn sense at all. And then they use our pain, our suffering, in order to help these other groups. And it's all the same thing. Using pieces of us to help either themselves or their talking points or someone else they want to help to get money or donors or votes or whatever. It's the same game. At this point, I got a feeling this isn't going to change anytime soon, but that doesn't mean we don't call it out for what it is, because what it is dirty. What it is racism. It's anti-black. And we got to be smarter. So reason why I'm making this segment, I just want you to be aware of what they do. So when it's done, always take a beat before you go after the brother or sister who said the thing. And try to look at it in the context of maybe they didn't know it was going to be weaponized that way. Once again, time after time, when I'm online, I got to hear people use that Chris Rock analogy. Here goes a perfectly good Chris Rock analogy they could use. The Larry Holmes analogy. Never used. Because it doesn't give them the outcome they want. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section about this one. Chris Rock, not always wrong, sometimes very right. In fact, this is not even my favorite quote of his. My favorite quote is when he talked about his grandparents and how they had to go to the dog vet because they couldn't go to the dentist because white people wouldn't see black people back when his grandparents were coming out. So he had to go to the vet, the literal vet, for their dental work. And other stuff. There's other stories too. So yeah. I know it's times he mess up. I know it's times I've heard Chris sometimes goes too far. He gave, certain comedians a license like Louis C.K. to use the N-word as if he could don them that. Like he can bequeath them the N-word, which is goofy. Don't get it twisted. He live in a bubble. That way he's been living in a bubble for 30 years. But he's also had some gems. All right. Let's keep it moving, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. All right. Next.
Back with Tim Black.
So I'm in Union City, Georgia, and it was said that ICE hit the Amazon fulfillment center on Buffington Road, and bam, they call their peoples, and Amazon works out of 5 different warehouses in Union City, and people just started leaving. Bro was telling me he worked first shift before shift started right then. He was talking to me, he was telling me, man, the police, they set up to watch who was leaving. They set up to watch who was leaving. And then they figured out where they was going and they went and got them there. But immigrants are not safe in Georgia. You are not safe in Atlanta. Brian Kemp is our governor, and hate him, love him, whatever you think about him, Big Dog gonna follow the law. Big Dog is going to follow the law. He's going to follow the law. And when the federal government says those immigrant visas have been revoked, oh, you ain't working in my state anymore. That's illegal. We're not doing anything. That's Brian Kemp. So now, you own that, and then being back to second shift, it was just, but they just started walking out. They had the meeting, and they just left. They just left, bro. They just left. It's like if you work in a warehouse where equipment is scarce at most times, right? Nah, anybody can hop on anything they need to get. It's not supposed to be like that. There are supposed to be hundreds of cars in this parking lot. I ain't gonna show nobody a car like that, but they just left. The Haitians, the Africans, the Hispanics, they just left. They just left, bro.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yeah, I want to point this out as well, guys, because we talk a lot about this, and this is real life. I like hearing real life stories of real people in the real world and how they see the immigration conversation, what they see unfolding. But I want to get to the very end, that very end part, guys, when he said, everybody left. Haitians, Latinos. He said, what groups did he say? This is important, guys.
Supposed to be hundreds of cars in this parking lot. I ain't gonna show nobody a car like that, but they just left. the Haitians, the Africans, the Hispanics, like, they just left. They just left, bro.
Next on deck.
Yeah. Haitians, Africans, and Hispanics. They all left. Because they all can be undocumented, right? Yeah, think about that. Think about what you don't hear about. Look, man, I've been so close to this thing, I don't know how I missed this until tonight. We're so screwed up. We're so jacked up. We're so biased as a country. The only immigrants getting deported that we even cared to mention were the light-skinned Latinos. I ain't heard nobody talk about Haitians and Africans getting deported. Have you? Have you heard that? And the only person I heard them complain about not getting deported is the white South Africans. Once again, get what I'm saying? But the focus on Africans, and by the way, we know Africa's a continent, right? So there's all types of people from all these various African countries getting deported. ICE will deport them too, and no one talks about it. It's like non-existent. We've been hearing all these fights about why aren't black people standing up more for Latinos or Hispanics? What about the Africans? I mean, since you say people try to make it seem like black people got a problem with Hispanics. I don't see us in the streets for the Africans or the Haitians. And these are the same, look, we were supporting, remember that when they had the doctored, well, I won't say doctored, but they released those photos a couple years ago of Trump, back when Trump was president the first time, and they had the guys on horseback at the border, and it looked like they were going after the Haitians. Remember the uproar about that? Remember that? Yeah. And then we found out that's not exactly the case. But by that time, the news cycle had gone, and they moved on to the next thing. Yeah. So, but black Americans raised a little bit of noise about that. They were pretty upset about the imagery that we were seeing. Because those are black-skinned, right? Black American looking. They weren't. They were Haitian. Why are they getting treated like that? Why are they getting beat? Look like whips. So you can't say it was like we don't care, because we cared about that. A lot of us cared about that. But why aren't I hearing all the criticism about not helping Haitians or Africans? And maybe it's going on. I mean, I heard a little bit, but there's been some beef going on with the FBAs and black Americans and, people from African countries and Haitians. There's a bit of that going on. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing compared. I mean, that amount of whatever's going on with that is nothing compared to with the Latino, the Hispanic blowback, and black American. Like that riff that's being covered, I mean, it's being covered everywhere. It ain't really being covered about Africans. And all I'm saying is, why is that? I think it has to do with colorism. Why else is it a focus? Why else is that a big deal? Let me know what y'all think, man. I think there's something to it. And the only group of people that Trump, imported was this small group of, and I heard it was a small group, it may have grown, because there's been a lot going on from, attacks, Iran and Israel. A lot going on, right? So we got shooters, we got people on the run, so it's a lot going on, so I may have missed it. Trump, he's slick. He may have let in more white South Africans. But him and Elon look like they patched things up. I saw something that Elon was like apologizing, created a meme or something. Maybe that's so he can get more of his friends over. But anyway, point is, Let's take a look at it. Let me know what y'all think. I think there's something to it. Because I have not heard people talk about Haitians and Africans being deported. But this guy says, hey, they work here and they was out. So if they're only looking for Latinos, right? Why the Africans run? Why the Haitians run? If all they're looking for are Latinos, why these Haitians get about? Why they bounce? And why isn't that part of the conversation? Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, man. I think it's something worth discussing. Don't you? Next.
With Tim Black.
Chief, the 4 people involved, were they shooting at each other, shooting into the crowd? Do you know just how before, did they know each other, Chief?
There was a shooting in Salt Lake City at a protest, part of the No Kings parade, right? The No Kings protest in Salt Lake City on June 14th was caused, a shooting there was caused by a confrontation between a man, Arturo Gamboa, who's seen pulling an AR-15 style rifle from his backpack and running towards the crowd in a firing position. This guy ran at the crowd, shooting at him. 2 armed individuals believed to be a part of the protest, peacekeeping team, and wearing high-visibility neon vests confronted Gamboa. One of them fired 3 shots, intending to stop Gamboa, but one bullet struck and killed a bystander. Arthur Falasso Alu, a 39-year-old fashion designer. Gamboa was also wounded but survived and was arrested on suspicion of murder.
That is all under investigation right now. It's too early to say.
Why were the other 2 taken into custody?
They were involved.
Involved how?
Well, that's under investigation currently.
Were any of them participating in the protest, or were they just near it?
It appears they were, involved at some level in the protest, or at least in, as part of the group that was walking.
The initial suspect that you took into custody that had the gunshot wound, how did he get the gunshot wound?
That's what we're still investigating. It's too early to say right now. I'm sorry. Yes, I should clarify. Officers, as far as we understand at this point, officers did not shoot, do any shooting.
Chief, any word or anything on the motive as to why?
Again, it's just so early right now. Fortunately, we have everyone involved in custody, and we're going to be sorting that out. We also had a lot of witnesses, and we're talking with the witnesses as well to see what we can learn.
Chief, it sounds like some of the witnesses helped take this person into custody. Is that accurate, or what was their involvement in helping you track this person down?
Well, they certainly gave us descriptions of a description of the individual, and I don't know at the time he was taken into custody if anyone was involved other than our officers. I'm not sure.
They chase him down or point him out in some way?
Yeah, they gave us a description. Our officers were quickly able to see that individual, and then there was a pursuit, and they eventually found him.
Mayor, if we could ask you a question, Mayor.
Next on deck.
Yeah, man, I don't know what to make of this, man, but I do know that this No Kings protest that took place over the weekend in all these multiple states, it was a very highly funded event. It was funded so well, they had their own security. Cops did not shoot this guy or shoot at this guy. Like private security, protest security. Must be nice. They don't even have to rely on local law enforcement. They were able to hire their own people. That's that Soros money. And then the old people say, out 10, I'll say Soros. That's what I read. I read that this was funded by big-pocketed billionaires who support the Democratic Party. They funded the No King protests. Billions of dollars. Somebody hired private security. How many events you know that is or that are grassroots have their own private security? Not many. Not many. They got one guy, not a security team, a protest team, a protest peacekeeping team is how it's labeled here. That's money. Yeah, that's not Tim Black's Wolfpack getting together for a little event down the street. Nah. Anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I want to find out on the other side. I want to find out more about what took place. Why was this guy running at the crowd, firing an AR-15 style rifle? Like what? Seems sketchy, man. It seems sketchy because it is sketchy. How about that? All right. Moving right along, Johnson. Where we at? How we doing? We getting any likes on the business? Anybody got any questions? What's going on, man? What's happening? I see Gary Goofs in the house. Be easy. Be easy, that dude. Olivia James, always. Blue Ebony said the guy on Real Housewives of Atlanta got deported. There you go. The black African influencer who doesn't say anything in his videos is huge on TikTok. I heard someone turned him into ice and he left voluntarily. Katie Lindsay. DeAndre in the building. Floridian. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you for being part of the Tim Black Show tonight, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for the VIPs. All the VIPs, thank you for being a part of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Guys, go to jointimblack.com. Join us on Patreon or join us on YouTube, right? Starting only $5 a month. $5 a month. Become a VIP. Go to jointimblack.com. Do it today. Get everything I put out, plus first crack and special interviews. All right? And there's going to be more special interviews. All right? Thank y'all. Let's keep the party going, Johnson. Home stretch.
With Tim Black.
Meanwhile, white man, he sees me, he goes, yep, let me give you this special project. What do you need? What's going to advance your career? How can I help you? None of the passive aggressiveness, none of the micromanaging, none of that extra shit, right? Give me Jim, Bob, Bill, give me that.
This video triggered me because I want so badly for her to be wrong. My very own lived experience is that the two people who were responsible for my career literally launching off the platform were named Corey and Phil. And yes, they were. If you're asking me what they were, go back and watch her video. But yep, they were. And when I tell you special projects, temporary assignments, mentoring, everything that I needed to move forward in my career, the leaps and bounds that I took were when I was underneath a Corey and a Phil. And that is what it is.
Next on deck.
Yeah, man, I wanted to comment on this because, well, hell, I think I have a privileged position. I've been in a position where I can speak to this. This is one of the reasons why I get tired of the internet. Yeah, I get tired of the internet when it comes to stuff like this, man. Everybody gets a microphone. And it's a beautiful thing. Don't get it twisted, man. Hey, I get to run my mouth on the internet. You get to listen if you want to listen. So do these ladies. They get to run their mouths on the internet too. But it would help if they had a little context. Yeah. They're both operating under the suspicion that black people don't help black people. I don't know. I may have a little bit of age on these young ladies. Not that much. I've been helped by black and white people, and I've been stabbed in the back by black and white people. What can I tell you? People gon' people. If you in a position where you never had a black person help you, maybe you haven't worked enough places yet. If you're in a position where you haven't had a white person not help you or screw you over, maybe you need to pay better attention. Or maybe you need to get around. I remember vividly. I still remember the name of the black man that helped me, one of the black men that helped me. There's been several. I was working at a company called CACI. His name was Bill Brooks. And one of his other guys' name was Frank Harris. I was what was called a junior paralegal. I was like 19 years old. I went to a paralegal's training school. I thought maybe this might be me. Maybe I'll be a lawyer. And being broke as hell, all I could do is go to a paralegal school. Anyway, these guys, Bill Brooks, I'm working at this job. I was so broke, guys, I could not afford ties and dress shirts. And I wanted to get a hit so bad, man. I had my eyes this big. I wanted to do well. And I'll never forget, I came in one day. And Bill from Detroit, the Detroit Bill. Yeah, man. Detroit Pistons, the bad boys. It was doing that era. I remember coming to my desk, man, and I remember sitting on my desk was a box. And it was a card on top. It said, to Tim, from Bill. Open the box. It's 3 ties in the box. 3 ties, 3 nice ties. And it just, man, it meant everything to me, man. It wasn't just the ties, man. He gave me advice. He said, Tim, chill, man. Do the job and lay in the cut. Opportunities will come. Just lay in the cut. Lay in the cut, Black. Just lay in the cut. That used to be all his advice was. Don't get emotional. Don't get pissed off. Do the job and lay in the cut. And and take the headphones off in the elevator. Bumping the, whatever that is, in the elevator. He's a little bit older. He was older than me. Yeah, Bill Brooks. Bill Brooks brought me ties so I could feel like I could fit in at the job. So I could dress nice. And it meant everything to me because feeling good at a business is important to looking good. Or looking good is important to feeling good. I worked in contract work where I'd be the only black person on site sometimes. And the way black women treated me was amazing. Almost like I was a star. Almost as well as they treat rappers and performers. Well, older black women came out of their offices just to tell me how proud they were to see a black man wearing a tie and a shirt at the Department of Justice who wasn't pushing the mail cart. So it bothers me when I got sisters, just because some white guy hooked them up at some point, that they think nobody black ever did anything for them. Or if that maybe that could be isolated. Well, if my experience was different, that goes to show you their experience is isolated. And yeah, I got bad stories too. But they were talking like there weren't different stories. And there are different stories. I had white guys that did nice things for me, or maybe a white female supervisor who was great. I had a great white supervisor. Her name was Trish. She was cool. Then I had a bad white supervisor. Her name was Holly. She was horrific. Holly sucked. I mean, big time. Unprofessional. But she was with the in crowd. It was a small tech company and they knew her. That is something that mattered more. Anything else is that being a known entity and them knowing you. And they knew her, they didn't know me. I didn't know anybody there. And that's where having a good network comes in. And my point is this, man, I could go on and on, but I'm just saying, I mean, we all have our stories. I just get tired of black people saying the same stories about black Americans. And once again, if you haven't had black people and white people treat you different ways, then you need to get around, Johnson. You need to get around. First job I got. White collar job I got because a black woman and a black man I made music with, his wife worked at this company. It's the only reason why I got the job. Of course, I had to still do the interview and get past the interview and all that other shit, background check and all that stuff. But it was a black man and a black wife that got me that job. He introduced me to her. She introduced me to the supervisor because I did not directly work for her. But she put a word in for me. These sisters making these videos, and that's just the thing, man. It gives people the wrong impression. I'm not taking away from the fact that these women's experiences, these women have this particular experience. I have a different experience. And it's troubling when I hear black people dog out black people like this, when I know that's not the case, man. I know that's not the case. Because I experienced it. And once again, I would have no problem. And they said, this is just my experience. You don't know anybody black that got a hookup from somebody black? You don't know anybody black who was helped by somebody black at all? None? Well, that means you must have had that many black friends. No one black has ever been helped by someone black ever. That's crazy. Can you find white people that don't know anybody white who was helped by someone white? No. See what I'm saying? So it seems a little odd. And also, why would you even want to put that out there? Let's say your experience was limited. Let's say you had 10 different jobs. I don't know. Let's say it's real. You never, ever had anybody black help you. Why would you put that out? To tell black people not to somehow not have jobs working with black people? Is that, I don't get it. Anyway, yeah, the self-hate is real. The self-hate is real. Yes, I've had backstabbers. I've had people that did that. But I had some who helped me up too. So yeah, I don't judge people based on that. I don't, and when I work with black Americans, I like to say I'm a pretty good judge. I got better. I'm getting better. I'm not in my final form yet. I think I'm a pretty good judge at some point. You know what I'm saying? But you really never know what someone's going to do. You never really know. Anyway, I just wanted to comment on it because it bothered me that these sisters were both supposedly never, ever helped by a black person. This bothered me. It just further adds to the stereotype, which is what I was talking about in the last segment, where they took the Chris Rock joke and been using it 30 years to hammer all black people from a certain class. All because he made that joke. That's pretty much fine within the black community. It wasn't even made for white people. Chris Rock made that joke for black people because we know how to use it. We know there's different types of people. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Once again, I've had all types of people. I've worked in DC. If you work in DC, downtown DC, you're gonna be around all types of people from every walk of life. And you're gonna learn very quickly what somebody looks like ain't gonna have anything to do with how they treat you, how they move, how they work, what their work ethic is. It just doesn't. I tell you, if I thought these women were on the level, I just don't. Has not been my experience. Let me know what your experience has been. Have you had a mixed review? I know that sometimes women get different stuff, you know? Sometimes women, I don't know. I hear that women, I don't know. Maybe I'm a guy. Maybe it's a little different being a guy, but I don't think so. I've had great women that I worked for, that I've worked with, and great men, and bad women, or bad employers or bad supervisors. All right, that's it. Let's go to the next story. The next story is important story. This is an important story, y'all. Let me know what y'all think about this. This is big.
With Tim Black.
Let's talk about this word illegal.
Okay, so I want to go to this, man. This is somebody I saw on TikTok. Shout out to Dana. As always, Dana Mitchell. Thank you, Dana. I appreciate you, Dana. Justin Scott is this young man's name, and a lot of people like this young man. And for good reason. Justin Scott talks about things that matters. Yeah. And he does so thoughtfully. And that's something that you can definitely look forward to hearing. And he talks about a wide range of issues. And you can always tell he's put thought into it. He's considerate. And he gives a wealth of analysis to whatever topic he's talking about. And when he speaks, you can tell he cares. But it's not all just emotion. It's a lot of analyzing and thought that went into creating the thoughts that he's sharing with you. And I think it's a gem, and I think he's got a bright future. I think it's amazing. And I'm very happy that I stumbled upon Justin Scott's TikTok page. And I can't wait to see what he does in the future. That being said, I got some problems with this. Let's play it, then we'll comment. Here goes Justin Scott.
And that is what it is.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Let's talk about this word illegal. Let's just talk about it, right? Because some of y'all act like the law is your Bible, but forget it once freed slaves and criminalized their escape in the same breath. So let's just talk about it. Let's just run through this word. The way you spit it like a curse, as if it explains everything, as if it ends debate, as if it's not literally the oldest lie America has ever told, that you're not wrong because of who you are, but because of where we put your name in our filing system. How many times you heard that? So now you sit here and confuse law with truth. You confuse border with belonging. You confuse paperwork with personhood. So let me rebuke this clearly. The word illegal is a weaponized word. It was made to make you forget that the native never signed off on the fences, that the black was smuggled in as property, not passengers, that the Chinese built the railroads and then got a ban in return, that the Mexicans became foreign on the land that used to be theirs. So miss me with the sanctimony. Miss me with all that shit. All that shit. Your legal system is not holy. It is a bruised tool held by trembling hands. And sometimes it signs chains in the contracts and tears in the policy. The illegality you defend is just convenience with bad PR. You don't hate the undocumented. You like your fruit cheap. That's all it is. You like your buildings tall. You like your coworkers invisible. You like your lawns cut and your meat packed and your economy moving. And you don't want to look at the hands who hold it up. So you criminalize them and then blame them for their own bruises and then call the bruise the proof that they never belong. That sounds mighty familiar to me. I don't know. Because when they protest, you say they're disrupting, but that's the point. They're not here to beg. They're not here to whisper. They're here to interrupt your fiction. They interrupt the fiction. Right? Because the story this country tells is that we are a nation of laws, but the truth is that we are a nation of loopholes for the powerful and cages for the desperate. So when the undocumented shut down the freeway, they're not blocking traffic, they're exposing it. That's all it is. They're showing you what happens when the invisible refuses to stay invisible. So to say they're illegal so they deserve it is to confess your own spiritual laziness. It is to say that justice stops at the border, that humanity expires without papers, that the law, no matter how cruel, deserves your loyalty more than the truth. Because if Rosa Parks had followed the law, she'd have stood up. If Frederick Douglass had followed the law, he'd be on a plantation. Come on. If Christ had followed the law, he would have never flipped the tables. So let them flip tables. Let them disrupt your calm. Let them make you uncomfortable, because legality is not your God, and it damn sure ain't your excuse.
Wow. That brother is spirited. He is spirited and he used a lot of words. So let's use some words in return. I want to respond directly to Mr. Stewart, well, from Mr. Justin Scott, because he, I think, is worthy of a response, man. And what he says sounds poetic and it sounds righteous, but it's got a lot of problems. It's got a lot of problems. It's dangerous and it's misleading for Black Americans, particularly Black Americans struggling at the bottom, who have been struggling at the bottom for a couple hundred years. It's nice to be high-browed and be optimistic and be green and be fighting for the planet. And every wrong that's wronged, every person, every country that's been wronged by America, to say, hey, come on over. We got jobs for you. We'll make space for you. Well, you know damn well we the ones sitting at the bottom. So let's get into it. Let's start with the obvious. Comparing illegal immigration to Rosa Parks and Frederick Douglass? Really? That's a false equivalency, sir. I don't care if you say it with a lot of emotion and you say it fanatically or dramatically, emphatically or not. That is bullshit. Rosa was resisting Jim Crow in a country that's her country, on land that is her land. You can't say that about illegal immigration. It was a system built. The system is built to keep. It was built to keep Black people in their place, subjugated to white people. That ain't the situation with immigration. We were forced into this country by slavery. Ain't nobody forced illegal immigration to happen. No one forced Mexicans to come here. No one forced Ukrainians to come here. No one forced Haitians or Nigerians or any other African-related immigrants to come to America. No one forced them. We were the only people, Black Americans are the only people that were forced to come here. Japanese, any Asian countries, not forced. No one forced Kamala Harris's mom to come here. She chose to come here. Frederick Douglass escaped literal bondage, bro. So you're falling into the trap of what I've been seeing a lot of the liberal Democratic Black elites do, which is compare all of our suffering to people that could choose to bounce tomorrow. They could just go up, keep it moving to Canada. Frederick Douglass wasn't dodging paperwork. He was dodging hounds. Immigrants today aren't being dragged here in boats, sold on auction blocks, and forced to build an empire for free. Now, they're getting paid. So as long as immigrants are getting paid, whether it be a lot or a little, any comparison to slavery is bull and should not be tolerated, whether you mean well or not. It's disrespectful. If you're looking to make an effect, find another way to make an effect. Use something else besides us. How about using how Sweden or Australia treat their immigrants? Oh, because you can't, because they're worse than us. Yeah, they're worse than us. I covered this in another video. We're not the worst when it comes to immigration, you know. Not saying it's because we're benevolent. We'll exploit anyone, including the working whites. Many are making a choice to come here. That's understandable. I get it. I understand what you're saying. But still a choice to cross into another country and bypass the law, bruh. Let's not confuse moral courage with a migration policy. The policy was in place when they crossed. It's not like they crossed over, got here, was here 20 years, then they find out they might be deported if they're not legal. Nah, they knew before they crossed. Not saying that's great, that's the law. You call the word illegal a weapon. But what about the real world damage that unrestricted immigration has caused Black Americans? I'm not hearing you make that counterclaim. Like, where is the Black American part in this? Or are we just trying to placate to Hispanic viewers? Yeah, what do we come at it? I'm not seeing any difference between you and Eddie God right now. Eddie Clyde. I'm not seeing any difference between you and Van Jones or Van Lathan or Bakari Sellers. It's like virtual signaling. Forgetting that Black people are sitting here listening to this whole shit. Let's talk facts. Let's talk wages. In industries like construction, agriculture, and hospitality have gone down. Maybe it doesn't concern you. You don't have to work at those jobs, maybe. If you did, you'd be talking a different tune, maybe. The wages have gone down, not up, especially in cities where undocumented labor is rampant. So that's one problem. Wages are down. Two, housing. In low-income areas becomes more competitive, more expensive, and more crowded, which only drives up the cost of housing, which we don't need because we've been perpetually discriminated against in our own country. Oh, and it's been by some of the new arrivals. Yeah, that's a sticking point, isn't it? Schools get over-enrolled, hospitals get overburdened, and these are the resources we have. And since we are the folks living paycheck to paycheck in a system that's built on capital, we suffer the most. Another point you ain't making your video, which has got me wondering why so many people rock with you. Are you rocking for the working class? Black Americans, or is this for the elites? They want to feel good. Virtue signal from their purchase. Black folks already undeserved, get pushed further to the back of the line. These are the things that happen due to illegal immigration, just some of the things. And I'm not going to go as far as to start demonizing, talking about the crime and the Lincoln Riley Act, and other stuff that that some of my conservative folks do. But we're just going to keep it aboard here, man. We're still fighting for the promises that this country made us. And now you're talking about promises it hasn't made to non-citizens. Jesus, God, we can't even get America to agree to things that they said they were going to do for us. We ain't get our 40 acres and a mule. We ain't get pursuit of happiness to the same degree as white folks. I'm the first Black American, the first male in my family to have the same rights as a white man. And my family been in this country since the 1700s. If you want to get up here and wax poetic about how we need to treat people that ain't even citizens of this country, slow down. Brand Nubian. This not making sense. Now you want us to pause our fight to welcome new arrivals who aren't part of our struggle, but who do benefit from our struggle. I think Black Americans already did enough. I don't think we need to be lectured to about how bad America is. I think we're the ones who wrote the book on that. Baldwin. The fine next time maybe should be for, others. And we should not be included at all. And if we're not included, you might want to say that. So miss me with that, Justin. You said we like our fruit cheap. But let me be clear. We ain't the ones profiting. Black Americans ain't the one profiting from this. What percentage of Black Americans really profit from this stuff? I mean, I heard Jasmine Crockett make the same please. And all I can say is please. It's rich white folks and corporate Democrats. They're the ones that want their fruit free or cheap. And it's the Democrats who get the benefits. We're the ones who get the side effects. So that's why this isn't about solidarity. It's a sacrifice. And I'm sorry, Black Americans have already sacrificed enough, bruh. Yeah, young man, Black America has sacrificed enough. We already kicked the door in for civil rights. They already take advantage of that. The fact that they can come to this country and have any modicum of civil rights is because of Black Americans. So I'm saying this is not in hate, but in clarity. Borders aren't the enemy, injustice is. We need a border, sir. Yeah, man, we need a border. If we don't have a border, we don't have a country. And if we don't have a country, well, damn it, Johnson, what was all that surviving about? Any movement that puts Black Americans behind yet another group is a movement we don't need any parts of. And no matter how eloquent, how thought-provoking, how different, how emotional, how inspiring, how sensational, how interesting you are, you ain't cooking if you on that. Because that's not progress, that's betrayal. We don't need symbols, we need solutions. And open up the floodgates and let's help everybody. It's not a solution. All right, Johnson. And once again, bright young man, I look forward to reading and listening to more of your stuff. But reheat my platter. You know what I'm saying? It's a little cold. All right, guys, I'm Tim Black. Thank y'all for being here, man. I mean it. Thank y'all for coming through tonight, man. That's I much appreciated. I need this pick-me-up. You guys provide me a pick-me-up tonight. I appreciate y'all. Hope that you find something interesting or helpful in tonight's coverage. Share it with somebody. Let them know. We do this live stream Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursday, Fridays, Sundays. Stop talking. I need to turn off Siri. Let's go to the comment section, Johnson, see what we got. Gary Gibbs said it was a great show. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate you. Catherine says, thank you, Tim. Brother Tim, I appreciate you. Damn. Do you keep your door locked because you hate the people outside or because you love the people inside? Olivia James, go ahead, sister. Well said. It's a good question. Thank you. Zen Soulful, I appreciate it. Invaders being good for America is a liberal progressive. Lie. It gets Social Security, housing vouchers, passports, free intercontinental flights, and the list goes on, while you have homeless veterans who were denied and looked over. And none of that made his list. Maybe he'll go back to the drawing board on that one. So many people rock with him ain't thinking hard. It sounds good. It makes them feel good. Common Sense said he's not inspiring to me. For some he is. Trust me, he's at like, I think he's close to 1 million followers or so. I don't know what it is. I forget what they call it on TikTok, but he's doing very well. Doing very well. But hey man, I just had to make my comment. All right, family, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, man, for being here. Remember, don't let anybody take your cornbread, all right? Keep your cornbread, and that's an order. And yeah, And keep your cornbread. And as always, folks, I got to end it with, where are my ladies? Where are my ladies? Oh, there they go.